Hi everyone, welcome. This is Kelley. Today I'm here to share with you how I make my shabby flowers. I've had a recent request from a dear friend, Beck, would like to know how to do them, and she's just sent me these gorgeous Christmas fabrics in a Happy Mail, and I thought what better beautiful pieces to use than her fabrics in a shabby flower. To make these flowers you need a circle base piece. This is a 1-inch circle cut from cardstock. You need 6 to 8 pieces of fabric cut into small squares, and then another 6 to 8 pieces of fabric cut into larger squares. They do not need to be different colours, they can be the same fabric. I just like doing this for contrast. To make our petals for the flower, take your large pieces of square fabric and we're going to fold it in half, but we do not want the points to meet. They need to be apart like this. We then take the piece and fold it in half again, making sure the points don't meet. We end up with a petal looking like this. To secure our petal in place, we just need to add a dab of glue. I use this quick dry adhesive. It's the fabric glue I use. It's a 3-in-1, and I just add a dab just to this corner inside the fold and close it again and press it to make sure it's secure. You can also use a hot glue gun if that's easier for you. We now repeat the process for the next 6 pieces. I am using 7 large squares today and 6 smaller squares. The amount you use and the size is really up to you. The bigger squares is obviously going to make a bigger flower and you'll need more of them. I tend to stick to 8 petals or less, so then I know it's going to fit into my journal. If you tear your material pieces instead of cutting, you get this wonderful shabby edge that makes your finished flower look extra gorgeous. However, if you do cut your squares, you can just shabby it up at the end by scrunching it and fraying the edges, and it still looks just as gorgeous. That's our large petals made. Now we move on to our smaller squares and do exactly the same thing. And that's our small petals done. Now we can move on to our next step. Take your base circle and add some fabric glue to the entire circle. Take your large petals and layer them around your circle with the points meeting in the center, or you can leave a bit of a gap because the next layer fills that in. Press down on the centre of your flower to make sure your petals are firmly secured in place, and then we can move on to our second layer. For the small petals, I add the glue to the tip of one side of the fabric and then press it into the centre of the flower, layering them in a circle as we did with the large petals. Press down in the centre to again make sure all your petals are secured nicely, and then once it's dry you can do your fluffing, fray the edges to achieve the look you're after. I like to add a centre to my flowers, but if you don't want to, you can just plump up the small layer of petals and it will fill in that space for you. I like to use buttons for my flower centres, but I feel all these are going to be a bit small for this one today, but we'll just have a look through and see if any's any good. I'm not really sure. You can use anything for your centres, charms or another circle, whatever you have on hand. For now, I'm going to put these aside while I decide what I want to use and make a second shabby flower. This one is going to be red and green with 6 large squares and 5 small squares. So it will be a slightly smaller flower this time. That's our second flower assembled. You can see how quick they come together, and I believe one of these buttons should look alright in this one being a smaller flower. I don't mind that one, and I have 2 of these, so I might bite the bullet and just use that one on the bigger flower and just deal with it. Doesn't look that bad. All that's left to do is glue these buttons into the center. I'm just using my 3-in-1 glue, and then these flowers are done, ready to go into a journal or onto a card, cover, wherever you want to put them. So that's it from me for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon for my next video.